Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great day today. Today I'm going to be giving you guys another book review in which I will be reviewing the 5th installment to the Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind, The Soul of the Fire. Now, as I said before, this is the 5th installment to the Sword of Truth series, taking place just shortly after the Temple of the Winds. And in this story now, Richard is starting to get the people of Dahara turned against him thanks to another character in here called Dalton, who uses this opportunity to try and take control of Dahara and make sure Jagan, who is now the real main antagonist, to be the leader of all of Dahara. So yes, that's basically the summary of this story. After reading this book, I'm going to award it a 1 out of 5 stars. Let's explain why. Well, first of all, the plot. It just seemed to me like it was just following all the other stories, just copying what had been done before, nothing new, just more useless storylines and subplots that didn't need to be brought into this story at all, and it just made no sense whatsoever. It just became another one of those clusterfucks, and I was not entertained at all, nor were there hardly any battle scenes at all. It was just basically some parts where some of the characters are getting beaten up and last minute someone comes to save them or whatever it is. And also the fact that it was really hard to see who was a antagonist, who was a protagonist, and who was the main antagonist in this story. It just so many twists and turns and betrayals. I didn't understand what was going on half the time, and that's why this story, not one of the best in the series at all, and just like a few others that weren't great, this one tops so far the worst yet that I've covered so far on this channel. And then we come to the characters. Yes, Richard and Kaylin, main ones, and I just introduced a few other characters. You got Kara, then we got a few of the Sisters of the Dark and the Sisters of the Light, and Dalton, as I just mentioned, as he's now trying to get the people of Dahara to turn against Richard and show everyone that he's not the leader that they all thought he'd be. And yes, pretty much none of the characters feel so well developed at all. It's more like they were just thrown into the story and not given a proper developmental allegory to why they should be in the story at all and how they fit into the story. They were just shown in there to show what needed to happen, and that was it. Like, their meaning was nothing else. That was all I felt each of these characters that was introduced was just used for. There really was no meaning for them at all. Like, the stuff that they had, it could have been used for other characters, or it could have just not been done at all, and the story probably would have been much better. But once again, this is proven why Terry Goodkind, he's not one of the greatest writers at all, especially when it comes to fantasy. And finally, like I said before, the action and the magic in here, not the greatest. I mean, it's more setting an example of how you should not do magic or how you should do war. I mean, he now starts doing this subjective and addictive magic in here, which still I'm not sure which is which. I mean, he just thoroughly explains it with the snap of his fingers and doesn't give thorough definition of what separates each from the other and how it's important and why it's being introduced this late in the story when it should have been introduced much earlier on, like in the first book pretty much. He didn't do that, and once again it's just making the series much worse and worse, going downhill. And yes, guys, I know you're wondering why the hell you keep reviewing these. Like I've said in another video, I'm using these as examples of this is what you need to avoid when you want to read or write your own fantasy story. Do not be like this at all. You're setting yourself up for a big failure, and we don't want any people to be like that when they write. No one wants to fail when they start a story and it just turns into another clusterfuck like this one. and the whole series is turning into right now. And that's all I have to say about this story. Thanks again, guys, for watching this video. If you like it, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe. I post videos every Friday, and I also try to post more throughout the week, but Friday is always a guaranteed video. Once again, guys, thanks for watching, and y'all stay safe with all the stuff that's going on right now. Just be safe.